Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching the channel as always. Today we're gonna just get a push mower running. I pulled out from the backyard. It seems like I'm pulling the best push mower from the backyard and trying to get it running to get it out the door. This one kind of looks like it could be bad, but it doesn't. It shouldn't be. It's a Craftsman 21-inch with the Briggs Quantum. Newer style deck. And the cables and stuff work on it. I know that we're going to have to put a pull rope return on it. We're going to have to put a carburetor on it because it doesn't have anything. And we're going to have to put just the air filter and covers and housings and stuff like that on it as well. So we got that coming up. Nothing crazy. We got to put some wheels on it too. We'll go ahead and get all that in this video. Started here in just a second, but remember you can always reach out to me with any questions or comments about this video right here on YouTube, or you can email me ellis@ellismowers.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook at ellismowers09. If you need any parts for small engines, I have a partnership with the HiPA store. If you click on the link below, I get a small commission if you buy any parts using that link off of their website. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started on this Craftsman push mower and see if we can get it running today. Alright guys, so here it is. This is a Craftsman push mower, 21-inch. It has the newer style deck. Does it have the date sticker on it? Yeah. Y'all know what I like to play, guess the year, especially when I know what the year is. Alright, anybody want to make the guesses? I think it's I want to say it's probably like a 2005 model if I were to guess. Got those type of wheels. These wheels look like they've been replaced, but they're pretty cracked. We'll replace the wheels on the front. The ones on the back are fine. Looks like the original engine. It's got the mulching deck on it. Let's take a look at the model number and the sticker. And it's 917388391. Made 7/2/2000. Let me confirm with the date code on the Quantum engine here. Yeah, that's correct. This was made in June of 2000. So you're talking 22 years old. It gets me because these decks were still being used on like Murrays and Husqvarnas up until like 2020, I think. Either 2019 or 2020, whenever Husqvarna decided they wanted to stop making push mowers. Anyways, so the pull rope is out of it. It's pulled out, so like the return spring is just completely rusted on it. We're missing a carburetor altogether here. Like the whole shebang is not even here. But I have parts, like there's one, or there's the air filter housing. I've got a carburetor sitting in the cabinet. Blade is going to need a blade. I mean, it's basically going to need everything. It's a 21-inch blade, so I have plenty of them. We should be able to make that work fairly easily. Let me get this thing on the bench, and I'm going to go ahead and take off the gas tank and all that stuff. I want to make sure the flywheel key is good, because part of me thinks that it might not be. And we'll put a recoil rope on it, and see if we've got any compression before we even put a carburetor on it. Alright guys, if you're all ready, let's go ahead and get started on this. I'll show you the process of taking everything off. Obviously we already have, if there were an engine cover, that would be the first thing you took off. We might be able to even find an engine cover for this. You have 3 bolts. One thing you can also do while you got it on the bench is, especially when there's no gas in it, you can blow into this, cover the hole for the fuel line, and see if you have any air leaks. These plastic tanks can crack at the seam and leak. Now this one right here seems to be good, so that's a positive. So we've got the 3 bolts up top. They're 5/16. There's one on the side, it's a 3/8. And we'll get that off because we need to take everything off here. I just came off of fixing that Cub Cadet Zero turn y'all saw, and that thing was a battle. I wanted something that was mindless to take to work on, and I think this is going to fit the bill because it doesn't take much to get these things to run. Alright, so I've taken the 3/8 off there. There's this little rubber washer that goes in between the gas tank and the engine. Be sure you don't lose that, otherwise you might be cracking gas tanks, and that wouldn't be good. So it looks like our carb linkage and return spring is good. We got a little bit of debris in here. I did blow this off before I started working on it. So now we're going to take off. There's 4 3/8 inch bolts. 1, 2. That one wanted to be a bear or put a little fight. 2 in the back. 3 and 4. Let's see. Instead of taking off the dipstick, I'm going to take off the 5/16. Bolt for the oil dipstick, and put it up and around. Come on. There we go. I think it splattered all everywhere. Came out with a vengeance. We'll just set this aside for now. We've got a bunch of grass and stuff in here that I need to blow out or vacuum out or do something to. What I'll do, I'm going to grab some lubricant. Grab 15/16 inch. Socket with my impact, and we'll just take this bad boy off, hopefully. Perfect. Okay. There we go. Take the starter cup off. That solves our problems. How do we look here? I think we look okay with the flywheel. We got all the dirt out of the cup. Let's take a little bit of lubricant here. Just take a look at everything. Now, we do have a partially sheared flywheel key. Oh, this is going to be a bear to get off. Anyways, let me show you it. Can you see? You can kind of see it right there. So we've got that going on. We've got to get the flywheel off. I thought that this thing would recoil whenever I tried to run it. This has been months ago now, though. Get some of this oil off the floor here, because that was... Stop just short of the element, so I'll take it. So everything is, let's see. It goes this way. I hear sucking. Thing's got a smell coming from it. I'm gonna throw a little bit of lubricant in there. I'm sorry, I've got the sniffles, guys. See if I can get these things freed up a little bit. Okay, I can feel it. I can feel the puff. Yeah, I can feel the puff coming out of the exhaust, and it sucks on the intake, so that's good. So I think we got the valves intact still. Now the issue is, and I'm not going to do this on cam because I suck at it, we got to get this flywheel off. You could get a tap and die and use some pullers to get this thing off. Or we could do it the good old-fashioned way and just give a bunch of leverage, hit it hard with a hammer, see what happens. Hate doing that, but I think that's what we're going to have to do here. So we're at that point, we have at least got to replace the flywheel key while we're here, before we go forward. Well, the ones that I do on camera seem to be the ones that, or that I don't do on camera seem to be the ones that go the easiest. All I did was take the flywheel nut, made it flush with the top of the crankshaft, took a nice, I guess you could kind of call this a flat hammer, literally just gave it a couple of whacks, and it popped loose. I thought, yeah, there we go. With all the rust on that, I don't know how it did, but it did. So here we go. See, there's your partially sheared flywheel key. You see where it's got a little bit of shear to it there. So I've had instances where that happens and you have a partially sheared flywheel key, and I'm going to brush this off, and sometimes it will run great still. Sometimes it won't run at all. Sometimes it'll backfire and do all kinds of stuff. It really depends on the engine. But I'm going to scrape some of this oil and stuff off with the wire brush. But what you have to do is just put the flywheel back on. Once you put the flywheel back on, you just line it up with your keyhole. And usually what I do then is stick it back into the flywheel right there. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to clean some of this stuff up while I've got it off. Got the flywheel off, and I'll rejoin you when I get everything back together here. Alright guys, I've got the main layer of grime, grit, whatever off. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this flywheel on. Put a little lubricant in the flywheel. And we're going to pop it on like so. Oh. So. That's it. Okay. So I had to pull back the handle here. We've got it on here. Flywheel is set up. And of course I've misplaced the flywheel key. Don't you love when you do that? Anyways, what you do, good news is I just bought some. I'll find that one in just a second. Just place the flywheel key in the hole. And it'll slide in just like so. There you go. Now we can put everything else back on it. Don't you hate it when something like that happens? There it is. It's like you're working in a concentrated area and you still can't keep all your parts straight. Anyways, we're putting this back on, threaded on. Torque the flywheel nut down. And now, guess we're at the point that I'm going to find a recoil spring for this. Now this one in particular, come on. I can still show it to you. You can see all the rust and mess inside it. Like, it is straight, just frozen solid. And without not needing to battle anything, like it is just straight up frozen solid. And lubricant's not going to unseize that spring. Luckily, I got in the parts shed, like 3 or 4 of these things. So I'm just going to pop that one on, grab the part that I need. I'll be right back. Y'all saw how it went on. Might as well show you how to put it back on. Why not show the whole process? Alright guys, I figured while I was here, I might as well go ahead, when I was in the shed, so I might as well go ahead and get the wheels while I'm here. You can see these are, I already replaced the one on the left side. You can see that they had a crack right there in the back. So they were on borrowed time as it is. We're going to do a 9/16. This one actually was living on borrowed time as well. So this is one of those that helps clean out my parts bins, I guess. If y'all get glances at what my backyard looks like, y'all see that I don't have a problem with having an inventory of mowers to work on. 9/16, put this wheel back on. Again, I had these in the hanging out, ready for a mower like this. Those go in the trash. Here's one of these recoils. Tow rope actually looks decent on it still, believe it or not. I will probably replace it while I have it. The thing is though, we've got to replace the teeth on it, because the teeth in this little device is bad. The good news is we've got one off of this other, off of the parts, off of the one that's bad. So I just got to pull this off. It's a 5/16. And something just made it run forward. I don't know what. But we'll get the other one over here. just me, my goodness. Work on the floor here while I got y'all. See if we can get this out. Oh, super. I lost like that recoil retainer or something. But anyways, we'll put the teeth in. Come on. There we go. Put a little bit of WD on it. Lubricant, whatever you want to call it. Pop teeth in here. And then what we'll do is put this on. Let's see what we got here. We do not have any motion yet, because one of the teeth is not wanting to fall all the way down. So I'm going to work on that, but that's the premise. We're going to see if I can get this to be worked on properly. And there we go. Let's see what we got now. Oh, there we go. Hey, fixed itself. I love when that happens. I'll give it a little bit more lubricant and a little bit more pull. A few more pulls. We'll while I've already got it out, I'll replace the pull rope on it as well. Alright guys, I'll give you an overview here, an aerial view of this while we replace it. I have pulled the spring out all the way, pulled the rope out all the way, and secured it with a screwdriver through the top. Going to cut it as close to the knot as possible and pull it out. Now what I'm going to do is retrieve the top of the rope here. And sometimes you can push it out up the top, but other times I'll have to get needle nose pliers. And what I can do is grab it, come on, grab it, from the inside, somehow, some way. But anyways, struggle busting hard here right now, y'all. Try anything and everything to get this thing out. Come on, buddy. But anyways, we're gonna get. Let me get this out. I'll be right back. These work better. Just some like small needle nose pliers, and what we'll do is I do that because I like cutting as close to the knot as possible, because what happens there is that I can measure according to that and be pretty close on the new rope. So that's what I'm doing. We will take some of this new rope here. Start at one end, and then we'll just work our way down to the other end. I'm going to leave a little bit extra because I got to remember I got to put knots on it, so I'm going to give it about right, I don't know, right about there. Cut it. Best thing to do after that, burn the ends of it. And once you burn the ends of it, take like a rag or something and kind of skirt the end of it so that it has like a nice little point. Don't do it with your fingers unless you like to get burned. So we'll do the other side here. I'm just showing the whole process on this video. Why not, right? There we go. Alright, do the same thing with this side. So as long as you have not turned your thing away from where you were originally with this pull rope, you should have the holes lined up pretty well. And so we're going to see if we can just feed it through. This is probably going to have to come over just a little bit. So just hold it while you change that and see if I can get it lined up a little bit better. So I had to pull it back just a little bit. You can kind of look in there, look in the hole and see if you got it lined up okay. And once you do have it lined up okay, I guess y'all can see that. It goes right in there, just like butter. The Briggs are relatively easy. The Tecumsehs can be a little bit of a doozy sometimes. I double knot mine a lot of times, extra insurance. Or I could just be weak, one of the two. I'm not sure. Probably both. Anyways, tuck it in there. Now we'll take the pull rope handle, slide it in here, and tie it as well. A double knot because if one knot gives, the other one won't. Pull it in there. We'll release the spring tension here. I've already given this a little bit of lubricant. I'll grab onto the rope and it will come on back. Yes, sir. That little residual is actually okay. Well, it'll probably get tighter the more that I pull it. But that little residual is okay because we're actually going to pull it up on the put on that eyelet on the mower. Now let's go ahead and put this pull rope onto the mower. Oh, I see. We've got one bolt here that's going to give us a little bit of a hard time. It looks like probably came off of a mower that had a lot of vibrations or something on it. I say one bolt hole. Oh, all right. So we'll go ahead and put the dipstick back in place. This dipstick is tough. It won't come out nice. It will not come out nice and easy for me. It just wants to pop out so hard. There we go. There is one of these bolts. Oh, one of these bolts has a little bit of a shoulder on it. That's what goes for the oil dipstick. Then we'll get all four of these bolts in for the pull rope mechanism. I think I'm going to grab an extra washer for this one. So I'll tighten all these bolts down. I'm not going to put the gas tank back on it quite yet because I want to pull it to see if it'll work. And then we'll go ahead and put everything on it. And hopefully be done here shortly, actually. So let me do that small stuff and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, this is the first test run. Let's see what we've got. Put some starting fluid in it. It should at least try and kick over if it's good. So it's trying. I ain't even looked at the plug yet, so. That's good enough for me. I know it's got fuel and fire because it's tried to pop over. Let's get everything else back on it now, including the carburetor, and see if we can get it to run for us. So I got the fuel tank back on. I wanted to mention, don't forget this bolt. You have a little washer that goes in between a little tab on the back of the mower, or on the back of the engine, and then you can screw it in. Take a 3/8 and go run it on there. Carburetor comes with all the basics that we need. I found 2 bolts that we needed. The 2 bolts have these little shoulders on them. These are the carb bolts. They're not just threaded all the way. So we'll take the carb out, nice shiny china. Remember, I bought these before I had a partnership with HiPA, the aftermarket carb company. You can find these carbs on HiPA as well at hipastore.com. I have a link in the description below. If you want to use that, it takes you to the HiPA store, and you can search for Briggs & Stratton Quantum Carburetor and probably find it. Takes a little searching, but anyways, I put the O-ring on the intake here, and now I'm going to push that carburetor on, which I've already linked into the throttle. And we'll push this in. Just get these threads started on this thing. And it will impact it in. I'm wondering because y'all heard it had a almost heard it had like a head gasket leak or something almost, but I'm curious once we get gas how it will run. One thing I do want to go ahead and do while I'm here as well is to go ahead and put on one of the air filter covers just to see if I can get this to prime, and if I can, that's a good thing. I need to grab the screws that I need for this in order for it to work though, so give me just a second. Alright guys, we are at the point where we're putting on the gaskets and stuff here for the air filter. A lot of times when I do this, I double gasket this stuff. Sometimes I triple gasket. It just kind of depends on how I feel on that given day. We're going to try 2, and then we'll try a 3rd if this doesn't work. So what we're going to do, let's see. Man, might have to pull this back a little bit because we're going to have a hard time getting it sealed, I think. Anyways, I'm going to grab my tool. I found the screws that I needed too. It's just a 5/16, some 5/16 inch screws. And we're just going to put these on. Oh, also I put in a new fuel line. That's very simple to do. Just cut your new one to length of the old one, swap over the retaining clips, and you're good to go. And then the last one we're going to put on is, you know, I might leave that last one off and just do these 2 right here, because that 3rd one is going to be a task. The goal is to get all of this to where it will seal properly. I'm doing this with an impact. We'll be very, very careful if you do this with an impact. Baby steps, baby steps. And the last thing you want to do is strip out the threads in the carburetor. As soon as you do that, you're pretty much toast. Let's do a little bit of gas. Oh. Just pour $3 in. No, I'm just kidding. To make sure it's getting through the carb. There we go. Sometimes those needles and floats get stuck. So, in my experience, some of these carburetors will not prime until you run them. Let me get this off of the bench here. I might as well go ahead and put this 3rd one in while we're here. That one's tight. That one's tight. I don't want to make them any tighter than that. And see what we can manage. When it comes to this. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but some of these batches of carburetors will not prime until you get them to run. Alright, so let me throw some starter fluid in it and see if it'll take off for us. All right, that ended up working. It's some sort of, I don't know what it is, but you can see we're priming now, which is great. Man, this had a bunch of water in it. I did not expect it to crank and run like it did. I'm gonna let it run some more, and it's gonna fill the sky with some smoke, but we gotta burn some oil off of this thing, and then it'll be time to pretty much wash it and find a blade for it. Change the oil. All right, y'all, we're gonna switch the blades out here. Got it running pretty good. And as you can see, this blade is missing a lot. I got a good 21-inch blade here. I believe it's good. It kind of looks like it might be a little bent down, but let's get it out here, I suppose. And see. The blow-by is just crazy on this thing. Come on. Good. It's not smoking or anything anymore. I think it's just got a little bit of blow-by that it's got to get sorted out just from where it was sitting in the moisture and stuff. But like I said, it'll run whenever you, as long as you don't tilt it over, it runs just fine. It'll start right back up too. Don't make a liar out of me. Oh, come on. Might be out of gas now. Yeah, kind of is. Anyways, I think we're at the point where I'm going to clean it up and see what I can do with it. And I will show you all the finished product for it. second here. I think it's about to run out of gas, of course. But what it's doing is when I put the air filter on it, let me fill it up with gas and I'll show you what's going on with it. You can kind of see that we've got, what it's doing is it's shooting gas out this way. So it almost tells me that I think that we've got an intake valve that's not seating all the way, because it's pushing the exhaust gases out of this, and what it's doing is it almost is causing a choke effect to where when you put the air filter on, it's like it's choking out. So what I'm thinking I might do is, once this cools down, take the exhaust off and see if I can lap the valves here on the cover. Take the valve cover off and lap the intake valve to see if it'll stop that. But it's doing, like I said, the choke effect. It's like it's giving it too much fuel and not enough air. And I think it's because it's also pushing fuel back out instead of in. So let me let this, let me charge the camera up and let me let this cool down. I'm gonna work on a couple other things while it cools down. I'm gonna see if we can get this to where the valves will seat properly. I might even take the head off of it just to look at it as well. We'll see what we end up getting ourselves into. All right, so we are at this point. What I have done, I have a valve tool, and I took the valves out. It's just, you have to, it's a little bit of a process. It's not bad, but you have to get these to where they will get through, I guess, the spring. There's a little slot. You have to kind of join it up with this little groove here and then push it or pull it out. And so whenever we pull this out, or whenever we put it back in, I just have to put the valve back in, push it in, and it should return to where it needs to, in theory. We shall see. Anyways, what I did, the valves, the head was a little dirty, nothing crazy. I may put, the valves were seating properly, so that kind of is making me like, but I cleaned everything up, and I'm going to put it back on now. Clean up the valves. I even lapped them a little bit right there on the back, just to see if that does anything to help us. Intake is on the top. Gotta get it through here. May have needed to fix it a little bit. Maybe I need to get some lubricant or something. Get it in there. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, come on. Whoops. The exhaust valve the same way. So that intake does not want to go in. Wow. Let me work on getting that intake in, and I'll be right back. That's crazy. If I can get it back out here, man, what is going on? Anyways, I'll get that intake in, and then we'll continue on. So now what I've got to do, let me get the exhaust valve in for you, if I can. Got to pull that back out somehow. And we'll get this exhaust valve in seated, and I'll get right back to y'all. We got it. Ended up being the carburetor, guys. That carburetor was dumping too much gas. Just a little too much gas in there, and it ended up being the issue. So sometimes you have good ones, sometimes you don't. This one right here spewed a little bit too much gas in order for it to work right. So I guess I'll use it for parts carb. I got to do a little bit of organizing here at some point, but anyways, that's all it was the carburetor was giving off too much gas, and so couldn't put the other carburetor on. It started to ran great. So just takes a second for it to spool up. Better too. So that's it with this. I need to find a couple of handles or tighten up these bolts somehow, if I am able to, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll when it comes to finishing this up, and then we'll go ahead and list it so that we can get it out of here. Cosmetically okay. I'll have to dust it off a little bit, but yeah. Just wanted to give me a little bit of a challenge, man. Might even try and find like a little cover to put on the engine. Alright guys, I think this engine is a little tired. After the carburetor, I put the air filter back on it, and whenever you get it warm, it would not start back. I tried multiple air filters. One of them was new, one of them was used. It still wouldn't start. So what I did, I know it's not proper for this, is I actually joined up two foam air filters. I'll show you what I did, from a Briggs & Stratton classic engine to put onto this thing. I think it's got a little bit of back pressure or something. I'm not completely sure why, but I put on these two air filters. I joined them back to back to get I know I've got a little bit of a gap right there, but around the sides and whatnot there is a nice seal. So when you put it on, may not do quite as good as the paper, but it's better than running without an air filter. So you can see I've got a decent seal around everything right here. And this thing's always been sluggish to start, but it will at least get enough momentum to catch and stay running now, which is good. So I was able to cold start it just fine, but I think that's where I'm going to leave this one, because to get a functional mower, that's what we've gotten. The air filter is not the best situation, but it works, and it runs good actually once you get it kicked on and going. So for like $80 or something like that, somebody's going to enjoy this mower, hopefully use it for a good little while. What I'm going to do now is just fix those two bolts and then give it a nice little clean, and we'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Alright guys, we are finished with this one now. I've let it sit and even did a hot start and stuff on it. It cold started just fine, so I don't know if lapping the valves may have kind of knocked the compression down on it a little bit, but it did seem like they did need to be gapped a little bit. the exhaust one anyways. Even though the carb was what ended up being the culprit, which I kind of hate it, tearing everything apart just to put it back together and have no result change. But that's the first time that has happened to me with the carburetor, to where it was dumping a little bit too much fuel to where it would run good without the air filter on, and then with the air filter on, it sounded like it was choking out. I tell y'all what, I know that I make everything look like it's all good on the video, but man, it has been 2022 has been a struggle around here, mostly because there's like been a couple of culprits when it comes to mowers. One of them was that John Deere LX279, and the other one was this that Cub Cadet Zero Turn, which I had to sort out those electrical issues, which took me days, and the John Deere has taken me weeks, it feels like. And so just to have something that would have been nice and easy would have been nice. Like, I was hoping I could just slap some parts on and call it a day, and it did not happen when it came to this. So anyways, is the air filter fix the thing that I want to do? No, not really, but it works. It does filter the air going into the engine, and it's going to provide the purpose that it needs to, as well as start the way that it needs to. We'll try it one more time here on camera just to make sure, but so this thing's always been slow to pick up throughout the entire video. So I think I've got it to where it'll be better now. But anyways, thank y'all again for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I wanted to show everything just from start to finish because it was basically building a mower. But obviously we ran into issues. So I know it's a little lengthy, but I hope y'all enjoyed the video of me just basically tearing this thing down and putting it all back together. And I'm sure we'll be doing that to more push mowers here in the future. We'll see what we end up having. But thank you again for watching. Remember, you can catch me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, as my email address if you have any questions or comments, or gosh, sponsorships are coming in. So if you're a sponsor and you enjoy watching this video, feel free to reach out to me there too. You can also reach out to me at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. Remember, if you need any parts for mowers, I do have a partnership with HiPA. Down in the link below, you can buy stuff off of their HiPA store using that link, and I'll get a little cut from that too. I appreciate all y'all watching and for the support, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. See you then.